Nothing new anyway.
Good morning, all. We're live. Delighted today to be joined by Kev from the Talkin Kop. A lot of you on YouTube already that subscribe to this or are on it will know Kev. He's a familiar face, and obviously he's on Talkin Kop a lot with the lads that are on with Gav, Keith, Shawnee, and Emmett. Kev, how are you, mate? First and foremost.
Very good. It's nice to have a Saturday where we've got nothing involved. We've got no interest in this day whatsoever, apart from putting our feet up and just watching it all happen. And it's a late one this week. It's a late one this week because there's no 12:30 game because Arsenal Newcastle's 8 o'clock tonight. So I guess we can sit down and watch that.
Bit unusual that there's none or a half-5. Is there a half-5 kickoff today?
I'm not sure, you know.
Yeah, I'm not sure. But Arsenal Newcastle, I expect it probably would have been that time.
There is. Bournemouth and Man City. Bournemouth, Man City's at half-5.
Yeah,
Arsenal, Newcastle.
Straight
ever since the Saudis took over Newcastle, they get 8 o'clock kickoffs. Where we get half-12s. The Saudis' TV slot is late night on a Saturday night, and suddenly the Premier League decided we'll put the Saudi-owned team on at 8 o'clock on a Sunday night, or a Saturday night, or a Friday night, or whatever night it is. Odd how that tends to happen, but
definitely not a coincidence. That's all planned. It's great. We're not involved today, Kev, so we can talk about tomorrow's game. Huge game. Yeah. Liverpool going into the 14th League Cup final tomorrow. Obviously, have the record of winning 9. Hopefully, after tomorrow, it's going to be the Big 10. Chelsea's last League Cup win was against Spurs 2015. I think they won 2-0. Obviously, they've been to Wembley a couple of times since. Hasn't been good to them. And most recent 2 years ago, we beat them. Penalties, League Cup final, FA Cup final. The two games weren't great in the grand scheme of things, but Liverpool got the job done. That's what you want to see as a fan. And then in the league, a lot of nil-nil games up until recent between both the clubs. And I was at the game at Anfield. We won 4-1. Great game, great atmosphere. Conor Bradley, Ren Roy. I mean, he was so good that night. And Liverpool were as a whole. And it was just after the Klopp announcement. And it was similar, wasn't it? Wednesday night against Luton. Liverpool 1-0 down, a bit flat in the first half. Crowd seemed a bit flat, nothing going our way. And second half, intensity, the urgency, everything was there. Tenacity. Liverpool were just brilliant second half. Turned the game on its head. 4 goals, could have been and should have been a lot more. But you take it, Kev. Thoughts on tomorrow, Kev, going into it and where we're at recent. And I suppose, look, Chelsea, a bit unpredictable as well, aren't you? You don't know what you're going to get with them.
This is it. And it's not like the Chelsea side that are going to be put out tomorrow will have any real reflection on the one that was at Anfield a month ago. I think they'll be completely different. I think you're back to the tough, grinding type of fixture with Chelsea tomorrow. It's not going to be a pretty game. It's not going to be an entertaining end-to-end flowing football. I think it's going to be attritional. It'll be a final. It's like most finals you watch, you're very, very rarely going to get an entertaining, open, attractive game of football in a cup final. And I don't expect we're going to see one tomorrow. I think you can almost forget the league game, forget the Anfield game. That was an anomaly in a fixture that has tended to throw up a lot of draws, a lot of odd goal wins for either way. And we're going into it tomorrow with enforced changes. I don't expect we're going to be any different to what we put out against Luton, bar maybe 1 or 2. We've got the ability to make 1 or 2 changes at the back. And I expect 2 changes at the back, but I wouldn't expect any more than that. Chelsea, you saw the difference in Chelsea when you played them at Anfield. The difference in Chelsea when they brought on Chukwuemeka and they brought on Nkunku, they were a different side.
And
Christopher Nkunku is their best player by an absolute country mile. I like Enzo Fernandez. I think he's a good player. I think they massively overpaid for him, but that's by the by. He's a good player. Christopher Nkunku, I think, is an outstanding goal scorer. He's a creative footballer. He'd be ideal in a Liverpool side. Said it when he was in Germany before there was even mutings of him going from Leipzig to anywhere. So that's the perfect Bobby Firmino replacement right there. The way he plays football, the way he plays the game, with backs to, he can drop off, he can link play, he's quick, he gets in behind.
Doesn't he?
He's got a really good eye for goal. His body has let him down massively since joining Chelsea, but I think he'll probably start tomorrow, and that is a danger because, look, this is why I think the changes that we'll make, I think Robertson comes back in. I think Ibu Konate comes back in. I trust our back four and Kelleher to be able to keep them out. It's a case, can we do the same the other end? It would be an advantage to us, a massive advantage to us if Thiago Silva is rushed back in and plays. Because
he's talking about he's out injured now and they're going to do a late fitness test on him. And it's the same for Liverpool. Like, I mean, Liverpool go into tomorrow with 7 players guaranteed to be out. That's in Ali, Trent, Matip, Jones, Matej, Thiago, Jota, Jones, I think I mentioned him. So Liverpool's late fitness test tomorrow will be on Salah, Darwin Núñez and Szoboszlai. So if we get one of those 3 coming in or starting, but I don't know. I think, look, I don't know whether there's mind games in that. All 3 could be available for the bench. Maybe one starts. I don't know. But look, we're hampered with injuries. We're down to minimum. And you're talking about Liverpool tomorrow with defensively. I think Konate comes in. I think Rob out his League Cup experience, the fact that he was rested against Luton, and he was very good when he came on, a bit more creative, gave more creativity to Luis Diaz. Do you think Bradley starts ahead of Gomez at right full? Because both, Kev, really, there's an argument why you should and why both deserve to start for me.
Bradley starts, and I don't think there's any debate about it, to be honest. I think he offers you so much more going forward than Joe Gomez can offer. And I think he's as good defensively. I think he's really switched on defensively. He's the biggest worry for me whenever I see new right backs or left backs coming into a side is, can they handle that cross switch ball in over the centre back where you've got 2 players running onto you? So imagine a situation where you'll have Sterling and, say, Chilwell running onto a crossfield pass from the wide right over the centre backs. Can he handle that? And yeah, he can. Luton tried it a few times, and he was so aware of his surroundings and what was going on around him. Yeah. And I think going forward, he offers you a goal threat. He offers you link up play with whoever plays, if it's Harvey or whoever plays at the right side of centre midfield. McAllister most likely.
I think McAllister, I think be probably Gravenberch in midfield with McAllister Endo tomorrow.
I think going forward, he's going to have. We're going to have the luxury of being able to play Trent in midfield in some games, play Trent at right back in other games, and Bradley will be the constant in that spot. I knew he was good, all right. And the thing is, if you're a kid going out on loan to a club like Bolton, not so much the fans' player of the year and what have you, that's by the by. If you're the players' player of the year, as a kid on loan, who's got no future at the club whatsoever, that tells you everything you need to know about a player. That doesn't happen at any club. That is rare. And they've seen the quality in him. You listen to any podcast where Bolton players of that side talked about him. They wax lyrical about him. They're like, they cannot say enough good things about him. He's thrown into the limelight with Northern Ireland at international football. Doesn't miss a beat. You know, he just picks it up and just goes. And everyone that I've talked to we're all looking at him thinking, okay, where is this drop off going to come? You know, every kid when they come into a side, there's a drop off. We haven't seen any signs of it. If anything, we're seeing more strings to his bow the more confidence he gets. Seeing him tucking into midfield now, getting involved in the last third centrally, where you used to see Trent doing that. He'll pick up the ball in the middle of the park, drive it 10 yards, and he'll have a shot. You know,
I don't think we've been as excited about a young lad coming into Liverpool probably maybe since Michael Owen, really, have we with Conor Bradley? I mean, January player of the month, deserved it. Comes in, we're down to the bare bones. He's been forced the game, and he's been phenomenal, Kevin. I'd say that. He's looked world class for us at fullback. Only 20 years of age. He went to Bolton, scored a few goals. He had 40-odd appearances, player of the year there. And that tells you everything you need to know. And you're right, and he's experienced internationally for Northern Ireland. class act at the moment, and you've like he goes in there and you've no issues or concern. You've none at all. It's just like a natural put him in. And the fact that how good Joe Gomez has been, he's been a bit of a Swiss Army knife. We've seen him playing centre back, left back, and right full in the last couple of months, and he's done really well for Liverpool. I thought Gomez done everything bar score.
The only thing I'd say, and I think Klopp has done really well in protecting Conor Bradley, where he's been giving him an hour, giving him 65 minutes, and then he'll bring Joe Gomez on. Yeah, because your body can't, at that age, it's the physical demands of top-level football that could undo him. But the fact that Klopp has protected him, took him off again midweek, and that to me says, yeah, you're starting in the cup final. And the thing is, there's going to be a lot of players starting that cup final who've won nothing, who've won absolutely nothing with the club, and who need to get their first medal in their back pocket and the start of the quad, basically. There's the first leg of a potential quad. And the fact that we're sat here talking about this only 2 years on from our last attempt at one, it's mental.
I think we've a better squad than 2 years ago, Kev. I think we've more strength and depth. We have that experience. The fact that Klopp is gone, like a couple of lads said to me when the news broke, some of my mates that are rival fans says, I think that gives Liverpool that bit of a boost injection. It gives them those extra couple of points come the end of the season, because that's just galvanised everybody. It's rejuvenated everybody at the club. And you can see that. Wednesday night, I was at half-time, went for a cup and thought, we are flat. It's not great here. We know Luton already took points off us. Probably a bit unlucky against United the weekend. They're not doing too bad. They want to stay up. Is this what's going to happen here? We're down to the bare bones. We got cup final the weekend. And second half, we just blitzed them. And to think that we got 4 goals and could have and should have been more says everything you need to know.
I was talking to a few lads who were there on the night. Chris was there, and Keith was there as well.
That's right. I heard Keith saying on one of the podcasts he was going,
Yeah, but Chris was there as well. Chris texted me at halftime, and he said exactly that. He said the people around it was flat. It was the same as Luton away. It was frustrating to watch. Last ball, last pass. That's all. It was frustrating. But that first 15 minutes, 20 minutes of the second half, that was as good a performance as I've seen under Klopp, full stop. That was relentless. Luton couldn't get out. And I'll give massive respect to Luton. I think the way they're trying to play football, they're very good at what they're trying to do. They've got really good players in the way they want to play. The likes of Benny, I think, is a really underrated player.
Quality player.
They couldn't breathe. And you want to see that for 60 minutes in a game. You'll never see it for 90 minutes. That doesn't happen. But you want to see that for 60 minutes in a game, and you'll destroy anyone. That's what gives me that second half performance is what gives me a lot of confidence going into this, because we are free scoring. We are looking very solid. Yeah, Kelleher's had to make some decent saves in the last few games that he started, but at the end of the day, that's go full Roy Keane. That's his job. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like that's you're not going to keep good sides out and away from chances, but you limit the number of quality of chances that they're getting, and we are. They might get the odd goal here and there, but they're generally scuttery goals. We're very rarely torn apart by anyone. And the fact that now you've got Endo back, you've got McAllister back, Gravenberch is going to literally would have been told, yeah, look, you've got the next 5 games, do something. Make.
We haven't seen much of him.
No, make this your platform. He's played hardly any football in the last 18 months. Full stop. He was a bit part player for Bayern. He hasn't really played football in anger since he was at Ajax. So this is going to be his period now. Show what you've got, and show an incoming manager next year that you're capable of being a major player in this squad for the next 5, 7, 8 years. He's still only a kid at the end of the day.
He's only 20, is he? I think he's 21 maybe.
I think he's 21. Yeah. This is massive for players like him. Get an early cup final in, get an early trophy lift, get that under your belts. That's going to be huge for these kids.
Yeah, and it just shows as well, Kev. I've seen something coming into this game that how good we've been under Klopp. It's mad. We've only won 1 league title, one of every kind of trophy bar the Europa League. And there's a stat flown around there the other day that players after 250 appearances for Liverpool that have had the most wins. So 7th in the list, it's all the Klopp players. 7th in the list is Alan Kennedy, then it's Steve McMahon. I think it's Rush after that. But first of that was Van Dijk, Trent, Alisson, I think it was Mane, Robbo and Salah then, all before them. And I think Virgil van Dijk has had like 172 games out of 251 appearances or something his first. So that just shows how good this Liverpool team has been under this Klopp era. They've been phenomenal, and I think in any other era, any other time, like it's mad because this year the team that finishes third could finish up on 90 points. So to get 90 points this year, you might not even finish second, which is absolutely bonkers. It's like the year we got 96 and we finished second. It's just crazy. So the level of football, how elite it is, the expectations, it's phenomenal, Kev.
Yeah, there's no doubt we're spoiled. All right, this is the best. The
caliber of players at Liverpool, the history, as you'd know more than me. It'd be more, obviously you're older, like of the 70s, the 80s, the Shankly before that, the Paisley on the Fagan, Dalglish. Absolute legends. Like some of these, like what they had to do, the adversity, even some of them had to come through. Just legends, you know what I mean? Just you look at sport, you look at legends, you look at like who's a huge iconic footballer legend, Kenny Dalglish, and then you look at some of these Liverpool players that after 250 games have had the most wins. It's incredible. So it just tells you everything you need to know and how good Klopp has been, and definitely should have more honours.
We underestimate how good this squad is because we always. Maybe it's an inferiority thing because of Man City. All right. But we always, and it's probably an inbuilt protection that we all have, that you're almost afraid to lose rather than enjoying the journey. That what if you don't get a quad? What if we don't win the league again? That'll be heartbreaking. You forget to enjoy the journey of getting there. And that's one thing this season. I'm determined that I'm not going to miss out on enjoying this the way we are, because I think this side is, I think this core group has the potential to be the best squad that we've ever had going forward. Currently, I think under Klopp, I think the football that we've been playing is some of the best football I've ever seen any club side, including the Pep's Barcelona side, I've ever watched playing when it's in free flow mode. When you see it at its best, I will go out of my way, even if I was a non-Liverpool fan, I would go out of my way to watch Liverpool because of the style of football that they play. And you often hear that with opposing fans, like, I hate watching you. Mark Goldberg is the classic. I hate every Liverpool with every fibre of my being, but when I watch the games, I'm entertained by what I'm watching. And it's like you're going into a final tomorrow. And yeah, Chelsea have dangers, no doubt. They have some very good players. I think we underplay how good we are when we turn up for games, how hard we are to score against, how dangerous we are when we're on the ball, and how many strings to our bow that we have that we can hurt you. And we don't. I think other fan bases probably see it more than what we're prepared to admit it. But when we talk up other sides, we tend to not talk up how good we are. And it's not arrogance or anything. I just think we're very, very good. You know, we're not top of the league by accident this far in. You know, just the fact that we're in the Europa League. That draw yesterday, nobody wanted us. Guaranteed. There's two sides in the Europa League yesterday that people wanted to avoid. That's Bayer Leverkusen and Liverpool. And anyone else you take with a hat and a half. The fact that I think who do we get in the end? I can't even remember now. Sparta Prague. You know, yeah, that's, you know, they're it's a handy. It's not too far away. No, they wouldn't have wanted to face us. They'll enjoy coming to Anfield, and we'll get through that round. Then it's an open draw. Anything can happen. But I'm bouncing into tomorrow. Yeah, it is. It's huge.
I agree with you, Kev. Like you look at us. We're going into tomorrow. We're a much better side than Chelsea. We concede a lot less goals than them, and we score a lot more goals than them. The only thing Chelsea will think is they've turned up in a couple of big games this season. They obviously have a good manager on Poch. They have a few dangerous, good players. They're very unpredictable. They'll just hope that with all the injuries to Liverpool, with it being a big pitch at Wembley, a final, a once-off, even though their record there of late has been terrible, that they're just hoping for something to happen on the day. It's a cup final, that can happen. Where if tomorrow was 2 legs, or if it's over the course of the season, Liverpool are getting the job done and they probably don't need a win tomorrow. But it is a cup final. It's all on the day and you need to turn up. And that's where the hope will be for Chelsea. But to be honest with you, Kev, I'm going into tomorrow very confident, full of belief. You even go a goal down. Like in the league, I think we've collected the most points, 22 points and I think City behind us with 18 from losing positions, which is, it shows the mentality, it shows the character, it shows that everybody's singing off the same hymn sheet and they really don't give up. So when they're the goal down, they don't panic. There's no real, like Van Dijk gets the goal during the day and he's celebrating, but he's balled straight back to the circle, to the halfway line. Yeah. Let's keep going. All right, it's 11 minutes into the second half. Still a long way to go, but we want to go now. And look, Rob Edwards, credit to him. He spoke massively well about the Anfield atmosphere and about even Liverpool, best side in the league, and they were just suffocated. I'm just a little bit concerned for all the injuries that we're getting the timing off them, but there's a bit of me that thinks tomorrow with the Salah, Jota and Szoboszlai injuries that they're all going to be available for tomorrow, I hope, even if it's for the bench. I think we're massively missing Szoboszlai in midfield as well. His strength is just his explosiveness, but look, Salah in tomorrow, even if he's on the bench, he can play a half an hour or the 460, whatever, or Darwin Núñez. And do you know what? I love Darwin Núñez. I'm delighted with Darwin Núñez because he's so unpredictable. Like, you don't want Darwin Núñez to be predictable. And do you know what, Kev? I've seen as well during the day a stat. I think we've only lost once in 39 or 40 starts that Núñez has had for us. So that tells you everything you need to know. That he's being very creative. He plays with a smile on his face. He keeps going. He's like, I was at the game against Chelsea and he done everything but scored. He hit the woodwork between the post and the bar 4 times. You know what I mean? And he you can have a bit of banter about that because we still scored 4 goals. We still blitzed Chelsea. So he could afford to do that. But that tells you he is like, I remember Luis Suarez first came to the club and he hit the post loads of times, thinking if he just knocks them in at the hit the post, and then the next season he was just so unpredictable. So there's a little bit of a Suarez streak in Núñez that he's unpredictable. And you know what, Kev? You look at Núñez's age and his experience. He's only on his 2nd season at Liverpool. First, everybody struggled. Like last season, Liverpool struggled. But this season, everything's a lot better. He scored goals. The chip against Brentford, unbelievable. The just cheekiness and arrogance of it, I loved. And it's starting to come for him, but he's still so young. So he's loads of time on him, and there's no need to rush at him. And I mean, look, he's playing for a manager who we wax lyrics about and we think is a god, and he is in Jurgen Klopp. So if he's good enough for Klopp, he's definitely good enough for Liverpool. So I hope to see him tomorrow, and I hope he plays a part tomorrow. But we'll see.
That's the thing, because I was going to ask you, you're coming into tomorrow. You've got potential. I don't think Szoboszlai will be there. I'd be amazed. You've got more. They're saying that Salah and Darwin Núñez trained yesterday. Yeah. Now, what do you do? Because the potential is that this could go 120 minutes and then penalties. Mm-hmm. If this goes to form, you have to discard the anomaly in the home league game. Would you start Salah or Darwin and control the narrative that if the medical team are telling you can get 60 minutes or 30 minutes or whatever out of them, or do you put them on the bench knowing that, they could come on 60 minutes, you can get 30 out of them, but then the game goes to extra time? And the thing is, how much risk do you put into this game with you have an FA Cup game midweek that they'll be more ready for. You have league games coming up. You've got Europa League coming up. You've got a run in to go against City where you might need to be nigh on perfect. Can you gamble tomorrow? Or should we gamble tomorrow?
I'm okay with them not starting, Kev, because the record speaks for itself. We're so good at coming back. So say, look, we are a goal down. I don't think that'll happen. And we need them to come on after 50 odd or 60 odd. You're okay with that. So I think not starting them, I'm okay with tomorrow, because I think you're right. There's a possibility you can go to 120, but we can always bring them on. We've ammunition, we've firepower in them, and they are game changers. And sometimes Núñez does better when he comes off the bench. you see Salah, some of his stats. I think one of them was great against Rangers. Did he get a hat-trick or 4 goals when he came on the Champions League? So I'm okay with those lads coming off the bench. They're so experienced, and they'll have that real sheer football arrogance about, I can come on and change it around, just put me on. So for me, it's a tough one. It is, because I can see the narrative of them starting. But I'm all right with, say, if it's an Elliott, a Gakpo and Diaz up front, because I think Elliott is brilliant. But then sometimes I think we get more out of Elliott when he comes on. But would I rather Salah coming on than Elliott? Yeah, or Nunes. So I'm all right with them coming off. What do you think with them coming on or starting?
I think I think it'll be off the bench. If anything, I think it'll be off the bench. My worry would be that you bring them on the hour and they have to play 60 minutes if their body isn't right. That you could do more harm than good. I want to win. I want to win a cup final, but not at all costs. Not at any cost. Yeah, there has to be some rhyme or reason, and I don't think Klopp will gamble on players' fitness. If he thinks that they can only get 30, then he's very militant about that. You've seen it with his substitutions this season, where if he's been told Andy Robertson can give you 15 minutes at the end, he will come on with 15 minutes to go. He's very, he listens to he trusts the medical department 100%, and he doesn't gamble anymore. Whereas at the beginning of his tenure, then he might have gambled, but then you look at the squad, he probably didn't trust the squad in his first couple of years. Yeah. Whereas now I think he implicitly trusts this squad, and this squad is the deepest squad of anyone in the Premier League, man for man, player for player, quality for quality. It's better than any squad in the league, no doubt in my mind.
Yeah, and I want to touch on James McConnell, Jayden Danns, and Bobby Clark. Nothing to lose. They come into this Liverpool team, no fear in them having a go. So even with lads coming on like that, and we're seeing a lot of them the last few weeks, particularly since the start of this year, since January, that they've some future, and the next man coming in has a job in his hands, but everything is set up from the training facilities to the stadium now at its most capacity, just everything, the academy. It's ready made, isn't it? I mean, for whoever comes in. And those, it was great to see Jayden Danns come on. Pardon me, he's from Liverpool City Centre, only a young lad. Come on, John Knight, and had a real good go at it. So you respected those 3 lads, McConnell. And they built up a bit of experience over the few weeks.
Danns is one that I looked at and I thought, because I remember watching him for the under-18s, and I thought, he's a bit small. He needs to grow a bit. My God, he's been on the Weetabix. He's shot up. I think he's grown. Someone said he's grown something like 6 inches in a year. The downside to that is we've seen this before with the likes of Gerrard, with the likes of Curtis Jones, that they have the growth spurt, and then the rest of them has to catch up. He looks true. The best part of the Luton game that I saw was his one-touch layoff it ended up in Harvey Elliott's goal. But you think you're in front of the Kop, you're 18 years of age, you've come off the bench, the manager's given you a big hug and told you, go and affect the game. Anyone else would have got that out of their feet and lashed a shot from 25 yards and tried to be the hero. He didn't. Got the ball back to goal, turn inside, outside of the foot layoff, and created a chance out of nothing. He looks like he's got the touch and the brain to be able to see a picture at this young age. It's the hardest position for any youth player to break into a club is up front as a striker, without a doubt, because goals win games is the most important part of the pitch. Right backs, left backs, centre backs, there's players around you, there's cover, there's help, there's a team around you to protect you in a way. If you're up front, you don't have that. And if he can break in at Liverpool as one of the options, even just as one of the options, if he can become one of a front 6, my God, that saves the club 50 million right there. Plus the fact he's homegrown, club grown. You can do anything you want. If you can produce one of them, you're golden, because that opens up the ability for a new manager, a new chief executive to come in and say, right, okay, we've got this locked off. The money that we were allocating to be spending on a forward to come in and bolster the front, the starting lineups, we can now go and invest elsewhere. I hope, that he enjoyed it. I'm sure he did. Don't expect to see him again this season. I'm looking forward to seeing him in preseason because it was the same as McConnell. Didn't know much about him until I watched him in preseason. I watched all the preseason games, and his composure on the ball. The first thing that jumped out a mile at me is very like if you watch Joe Allen playing for Wales, get his foot on the ball, little 5-yard pass, get it back, another 5-yard pass, little give and goes, calm as you like on the ball, nothing flustered him, and it was the same. Yeah, it was the same as watching McConnell. That he makes himself available for the short ball and to bring others into play. He's got a 360 vision when he's in the middle of the pitch, and he's another one. He just looks a real talent, And Bobby Clark is the one that I think will come on. He will be one of the subs used tomorrow, and Klopp has been throwing him into games earlier and earlier, even when it's 1-1 or 0-0, whatever. He didn't care. It's like you're going in, It's like go and do something, go and affect the game. He loves having the ball at his feet. He makes good decisions more often than not. He's quick enough over a 5-yard, 10-yard sprint, and he looks very calm on the ball. What more do you want out of a kid? He looks like a real talent. Future for this club is, if you're a manager, a top manager, and you're looking at somewhere, right? Okay, I need an owner who isn't going to fire me if he gets under pressure. I need a youth setup that is producing, and I need a squad that is the right side of 30. It's so unusual. You look at Bayern Munich. Bayern Munich is an aging squad that has too many Chiefs and not enough Indians running it. The likes of
too many individuals.
It's the board of Bayern run that club. The manager isn't a manager. The manager is a head coach who is just given an allocation of players and says, look, we're Bayern Munich, go and win the league. It's what you do. And football isn't like that anymore. Liverpool is built now to go for another 3-4 years with this current group of players, add 1 or 2 in here and there. If you're an up-and-coming manager, if you're a Xabi Alonso, or if you're Aliman at Sporting Lisbon, or De Zerbi at Brighton, if you're not putting your hat into the ring to take this job, then you have to ask yourself, what is the point of you being in football at all? Because any other club sacks managers when things are going bad, and you're coming in firefighting for your first season, trying to weed out the problems, bring in your own players, and rebuild the club. This is one of the few cases where a manager is going on his own terms, leaving you the keys to the castle, and his last will be, don't fuck it up. He's like, I've built you the most beautiful castle you could ever imagine. Don't wreck it. That's all you have to do. That doesn't happen in football. That is so rare that this chance is ever going to come to anyone. And
I totally agree, Kev. I really do, and it's ready-made. And on that, the 3 names flown around at the moment. Top 2 are Alonso, De Zerbi, Almiron, Sporting, the young Portuguese manager who's done really well there, up and coming. They all are up and coming, and they all have something good about them. But who do you see coming in, and who do you want? And I think I know the answer to it, because it's probably going to be the same to me. It's only real one standout for so many reasons. It's not even because they've experience at Liverpool, but I think when you look at them as a player, world class, won everything, developed brilliantly, so professional, and obviously playing and knowing the club and the city will and should help. Obviously, I think the answer there is Alonso. Was it for you?
Yeah. 100%. The reason is it's not sentimental FC. It's literally, you look at the education that he's had. His father and his uncle were players, coaches. Yeah, he's been brought up in football. who he's worked with as a player. Rafa Benitez, Jose Mourinho, Carlo Ancelotti, Pep Guardiola. Unless you're a wooden board or a breeze block, you have to be soaking information to these managers from these coaches as how you evolved as a player. We saw how he evolved as a player. He was a majestical player who could do everything on the pitch. Broke into the Spanish side that had Busquets, Xavi, and Iniesta, and did not look out of place. Could play the tiki-taka football that Spain wanted to play. Could play the rough and tumble football that Liverpool were playing. And then he went and done it at Real Madrid, done it at Bayern. Then he's taken the coaching job on, did everything that he could at Sociedad, he did, bar getting him promoted, which he wasn't allowed. They weren't allowed to be promoted. He took them as far as he could. Gone on to set a record now in the Bundesliga for the longest unbeaten streak in Bundesliga football history, and not with Bayern Munich. With Bayer Leverkusen, a side who traditionally would be top 6. It would be the equivalent of Spurs going unbeaten for 33 games. Yeah. That is the level of the achievement that he's done with Granit Xhaka in the middle of the park.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's not doing this with superstars.
11 points clear as well. They're 11 clear now. It's not as if they're just the odd point here and there, the goal difference. 11 points with. They might have only 10 games left, could even be less. I know Bundesliga, I think, there's less games played in the Premier League.
Less games played, yeah. But the other side of it is, I think the Liverpool fan base, more than any other, with any other player, with any other manager, they'll give him time.
Yeah.
They will suck up the hard times if they can see a reason for it. They won't do it for the sake of it. They won't do it because it's Xabi Alonso and we love him. If Xabi Alonso comes in and changes a few things and tweaks how we play and wants to play his way, which he has to, whoever comes in is going to have to, not sharpen their elbows per se, but look, this is my team. I understand what Liverpool have been. I'm going to tweak it, so it's my team. But I think he will be given more time than what a De Zerbi will be given, or Almiron at Sporting Lisbon will be given. Alonso will get more time. I hope that he feels that he's ready for this big job. That's my only thing. Does he feel that he's in a place where he can take up? Because he could turn two ways, right? He could be the David Moyes to Alex Ferguson, or he could become the Bob Paisley to Bill Shankly. If he becomes the Bob Paisley to Bill Shankly and does anything close to what Bob Paisley did, then we're living our best lives for the next decade.
What destined glory here.
And the thing is, it literally, the difference is Shankly handed to Paisley the keys to the golden. It was like ready-made. Ferguson handed a Ford Escort Mark I to David Moyes and said, go win the Premier League. That Manchester United squad, Ferguson ripped the living life out of it, squeezed every ounce out of it to get that title, last title over the line. And it needed a huge amount of investment and a huge rebuild, and it never got it. And that's the difference. I think that the way Alonso has to look at it is he could be the Bob Paisley to Bill Shankly. And if he has that mindset, then the world's his oyster. He could go on to manage Liverpool for a decade and win all round it.
Yeah, and it's the only time that a Liverpool appointment you are excited about, but you look at down the years, particularly in my lifetime, Evans comes in, Souness comes in, so much to do. Evans comes in, Houllier, Benitez, Hodgson, Dalglish, Rodgers. When they come in, there's so much expectation, so much to do. But at this present moment in time, Kev, there's so much going for us on the field and off the field. Facilities, stadium.
You're over there. What's it like now? What's the new ground like? Because I haven't been there. I was there at the end of last season.
I was at the Anfield Road end, the upper, and it was just near full completion. I think the game after that, the whole stand opened. State of the art, unbelievable. The walkway into the ground, the stadium itself, it's proper top of the range. It's state of the art. You know everything's new. the stadium is just immaculate. Like, and I mean, one of the lads I was with is a Chelsea fan. He was at the game, always wanted to experience Anfield, and he thought it was phenomenal. You know, its atmosphere was great, and he said himself, like, you know, the stadium, like even how the fans gathered and what they provide on match day, you don't get with many clubs, because that shows the fan base and how well supported Liverpool are. Phenomenal all round, Kev. It really is. I was taught, like, obviously being over there just recently. I was over there last in March, but you can see the improvement in those nearly a year since I've been last there to now. And yeah, it's phenomenal. And then obviously, look, I've never been at the AXA training ground, but I've seen the videos, the pictures, and we all have. That's another state of the art. So, and then on the pitch, we're talking about like the strength and depth and everything else. And no doubt whoever comes in will make signings as well in the summer and tweak things. But once their ego isn't too big that they want to go in and change too much and don't need to. And I think someone like an Alonso would more than accept that. Look, if it's not broke, don't fix it. Let's tweak, let's implement our ways. And Liverpool fans
I don't think a Tommy Tuchel would. I think Tommy Tuchel would want to come in and, or a manager like that. I think even Pochettino, if Pochettino didn't take the Chelsea job, he would have been prime target for the Liverpool job now. We said, I remember one of the first shows I did back on the Day Trippers. We all looked at it and it was like, yeah, Pochettino looks like the one. And this was at the time where he was being linked with the United job. It's like, if he doesn't take the United job and he holds out, he could get the Liverpool job down the line. But the fact that he took the Chelsea job now, I think, has scuppered that. And I think he's been found out a bit as a manager as well. I think he's I think he's limited in how he plays. I think PSG found it out. I think Chelsea have seen it as well. I think he's still struggling with Chelsea. But it's going to be interesting. Tomorrow, I think it's funny enough. Someone sent me a potential Chelsea lineup. I'll give it to you there now, and I'll tell you, it's a decent lineup. Where is he there now? He went Petrovic in goal, Gusto, Disasi, Colwell, Chilwell in the back, Caicedo, Enzo in the middle of the park, Palmer, Gallagher, Sterling, and then Kunku up front.
Strong,
It's a more balanced 11. It looks like it looks like an 11. I think Palmer, like the game when you went over to see, Palmer was playing up front, and he can't do that. That's not his role. That's not his job. You put him out wide on a wing, and let's, for argument's sake, he plays on the right for Chelsea, and Sterling plays on the left. That occupies Andy Robertson, and that occupies Bradley on the other side. But at the same time, will they go the other way? You know, will they track the runs? It's an intriguing game. I think we've more than enough to beat them. Despite
I think as well. I think Chelsea. They've a lot of good individual players there. You talked about the balance is right in the starting lineup, but they're more individuals than a team. And you're not. Look, it's obvious, Kev. The amount of money's been invested there. And managers went in with an all right pedigree. I mean, we've seen him when he the season at PSG and didn't win the league, so that's not a good look. I suppose he took them probably as far as he could, and then at the end of the day, he was sacked from Spurs as well, whatever way you want to look at it. So have they, like, the mid-table, are they still in the FA Cup? I think they might be, but this is not the only chance you have to win the cup final. But I think for Chelsea tomorrow, they just go blood and thunder, everything. It's a cup final, and that's the only way they're going to, that has to be their mindset and mentality. That's the only way they're going to win it. Because I just think we're coming in tomorrow, we're composed, we've experience, we're top of the league. We're almost top of everything. Favourites to win Europa League, probably favourites to win the FA Cup, definitely favourites to win tomorrow. But all that counts for nothing unless you turn up in the day. So the lads will be grounded, they'll be primed to be ready to go at Chelsea tomorrow. And look, Anfield, we call it tomorrow, Anfield South, Wembley. It's back again. We've had loads of days out there to clock between the semi-finals to finals. We've been successful. I think tomorrow, personally, it's just another day at the office and normal service resumes, where we'll find a way, no matter what happens, to get the job done. And it's one of probably a couple of trophies this season. But you know what, Kev? I'd want the Big 20 this season out of all of them, the league title. Like, I'd nearly almost take a win against our next opposition in Forest and City. than I would tomorrow, because I think the way the games are coming, where Arsenal's fixture City's, if we're to win our next 2 league games, there's 10 to go then. I think that puts us, forgetting about all the other competitions, it's just a matter of getting over the line then. And I think for Klopp to go out with another league title, even over a treble, I'd prefer it. But look, some people will argue and say I'd rather trophies than just a league. I just think he's been hard done by, and I think I go back to 2 seasons ago. We done our job last day of the season against Wolves, and Villa were 2-0 up. And Villa really, I would say, and look, people say I'm mad, I think Villa lost for us because all they needed was a draw. So for them to lose it in the way they did was horrible. But I think this title will definitely go right to the end. City, obviously, look, still favourites coming off a treble, the experience, the expertise, and honestly, haven't won the title. They probably just edges them. But I think if we win our next 2, it will probably steady towards being favourites. And the bookies are never really wrong, you know what I mean? But we'll see. Just look, there's still a long way to go, because we look at the league, 12 games, we have a lot of Europa League games, you've still the FA Cup, we've a game Wednesday, and then we've still 3 games in the FA Cup to go on if we want to win that. If tomorrow's game, there's a lot of games building up. We've already a lot of injuries. So I'm just hoping on the injury front we get a bit of luck. As you said, I don't want to win tomorrow at a cost. Like the other night we won at a big cost, but I want the likes of Alisson back as soon as, and I know that won't be allowed the international break on to April. You want Trent, you want Curtis Jones has been phenomenal this year. We've always talked about Curtis being given the chance, playing consistently, then we'll know how good or bad he is, and he's proven he's really, really good. He's very good, and he'd be missed. But look, Swiss Army knife in the team, McAllister, allow play more forward now. Endo's back, absolutely superb, 15 million a steal. Gravenberg might win there tomorrow, still has a lot to prove, but he's still experienced for a young lad. So we'll see, Kev. What do you think of tomorrow? I don't want to ask you for a prediction, because a score prediction you'll do, but that's very rarely we get them. You know what I mean? I don't really like doing them, but I get the feeling you think we'll do it tomorrow, definitely, yeah.
I think so. I look at the lineup that we look out. I think the lineup will be the 2 changes from the Luton game. Robertson comes in, Ibu Konate comes in. The rest of the lineup should probably be the same. I think the fact that lineup now will be going more or less for their 3rd game in a week. They'll hopefully have the muscle memory from the second half of the Luton game to attack the game a bit more. Chelsea aren't very good at playing out from the back. Plays into our hands brilliantly. If we get the counter press right, then we'll get better chances higher up the pitch. We've got 5 forwards now on double figures. Everyone is confident of scoring or assisting. I think that we're free scoring as well, despite the draw, the result against Arsenal. In most games, we're scoring 3s and 4s, and it's not a case of. And you look at it as well. We're scoring goals late on in games, so there's a belief there that we can just keep going. That if we go, like you said earlier, if we go 1 down, there's no panic sets in. It's like, okay, dust that off. Just get your foot on the ball and work the space and work the chances. We're getting 25, 30 efforts on goal most games. If we repeat anything close to that tomorrow, then we'll score 2 or 3. And I still go back to looking at Chelsea. There's Chelsea still trying to figure out who they are. Since the game against us, on another day, mate, that draw against Man City scored 4 or 5. Haaland missed some guilty chances. And it wasn't just Haaland. Man City absolutely battered them from pillar to post. And the only thing that Chelsea could have done, there was a point in that game where they were hitting Man City on the counter because they were overcommitting for fun. We don't do that. You know, we defend. We're a much better defensive unit than what Man City are. And you talk about Man City being the favourites for this league, and I suppose in history they are. But you look at this season, they're having to work very hard in games that they would, over the last few years, win in the first 30 minutes and manage and see out and rest on the ball and what have you. They're not. This Man City side, that squad isn't as deep as what people think. It's got a world-class 16 players, 17 players. Scratch the surface of that, and there's holes in it. They can be got at. Sides aren't as afraid of them as they used to be. I think they'll have to work really hard to keep up with us.
And I watched a bit about the Etihad, Kev. It's flat there. It's really flat. Like, I mean,
they can't even sub games out.
Anfield's a bit of an Anfield factor, and with Klopp at the announcing he's gone, everyone wants to go to Klopp. It's cranked up the atmosphere, the noise, the levels, which is great. We want to see all the time. But the Etihad, I mean, I watched it even last Saturday night against Chelsea. I know it was lashing rain, whatever, but it is flat when you anywhere.
There's an entitlement there.
Yeah, there's an entitlement. It is flat, but I think that likes of all that can go against you. But I just think now Anfield is going to be bouncing. There's 6 league games left at Anfield. It will be hopping, bouncing now, and particularly if we're winning. But that's a huge game coming up in 2 weeks against City at Anfield, and we'll go into that. No matter what happens, we'll go into that confident because it's getting closer to other players returning back. By then, we'll probably have the likes of Trent back, Jones, who knows, whatever. Not too sure the extent of all the injuries, but I know we won't have hopefully an injury list is equal to this is what we're going to Chelsea. And I just think we'll feel a bit of entitlement now to doing over them. You know what I mean?
I think our record.
Our record.
Our record at Anfield against them is very good. The other side of it is by the business end of the season, you know yourself, be in and around it at Easter, and kick on. By the middle to end of March, we'll have players coming back, and they'll be coming back at the right time for the run-in. And we've got Europa League, you've got FA Cup. Hopefully, this one hopefully will be in the pocket, done and dusted. And it's like the other side of it is nobody's going to want to. Nobody fancies playing us at the minute, and the only games that we've lost this season, Spurs, we know why. Sides can go to Arsenal and lose. You know, Arsenal are a very good side, especially at home. And if you're not on it, you can lose a game against an Arsenal. But I look at the rest of them, and there is nothing in that league that would have me saying, "Oh my God, I don't know if we can do anything against this lot," including Man City.
I think Arsenal have to go to City and Spurs, don't they? Which is, I know we have to go to Everton, but then the last day of the season, Everton go to Arsenal, and it could be, look, I'm just throwing it out there, it might not be anywhere near it, but it could be a case of Arsenal go to, Everton go to Arsenal. If they win, they stay up, but hand the title to Liverpool, Big 20, or if they don't, they get down. And it could be Arsenal, City, who knows, to win it. So imagine getting to that. Look, I'm just putting it out there. It might not be, Kev. I'm not trying to.
There's so many things. I'm looking at the table. I'm looking at the table now, right? And I'll be honest, it's close. Arsenal are developing into a very good. They're back in it. They're after developing into a very good side, but they've beaten sides who they should beat. You know, there's nothing in there that, bar the result against us, which I think gave them a massive load of confidence. They've beaten the sides they should beat. I still think that if anyone finishes above Liverpool, they win the league.
I agree. I do at this stage now,
Yeah, I'm just looking at it and thinking, my biggest fear would be picking up another one. Pick up another one, and I think we're in trouble. Because I think our squad at the minute, while as deep as it is, the injuries that we have at the moment are savage. And you can't gamble on fitness of players who are coming back just in case. The ideal fixture that we've got midweek next week with Southampton is perfect because there are going to be changes. There'll be key players who will be rested for that game, and hopefully we have enough on the pitch to be able to get one over on Southampton. Lastly, you want us a replay, but then it's Forest away. Forest at home are a tricky tie. They can be anything at home, but you hope you win that, and then no matter what happens in the City game, they can't go ahead of you. Unless they had their game in hand before them.
Yeah, it's not a must win.
Yeah.
That's the only thing about Arsenal I say, Kev, is, and it kind of summed them up this week, they beat the teams who are expected to beat. They blitzed them, scored loads of goals after all a lot of the expertise and the pundits said to them with goal scorers score loads. But then they go away in Europe and lose to a Porto side who are not great, 1-0.
No.
Now, they'll probably beat them in the second leg, but my point being is we've seen it against Brighton and against West Ham earlier this season where they lost back-to-back games. And it kind of summed up Arsenal in many ways that they're so close, but yet so far. And that's how I would sum up Arsenal. I think that they're getting closer. They're a really good side, great in the eye, will win most games, but they just don't get that enough to be winners. And I look at Arteta, and he's definitely up and coming, doing a really good job there. And a lot of the Arsenal players, you can see the more tenacity, a bit more about them, more flair, confident, but they haven't won at yet. You know what I mean? And we're talking about us going in tomorrow to a final. A lot of these lads that go in tomorrow have won finals for Liverpool. Like Kelleher in goal already won 2 cups with us by him playing. So I just think we've a slight advantage in many ways, but all that form and talk of experience and tactics and whatever goes out the window because it is all in the day. But I just think whoever finishes ahead of us wins the league. And I think tomorrow I'm definitely confident of going into a final, more so than I was 2 years ago playing Chelsea, because it was a lot tighter then with Tuchel at Chelsea, and you know we hadn't won the League Cup or FA Cup under Klopp. But I'm definitely confident tomorrow. I just hope we win, and it's not at a cost, and it's one of those games where it's not too hard in the mouth moment. You know what I mean? It's a bit more great, got the job done. But I don't think it will be.
Have you watched Liverpool recently? We don't do things easy.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I'd love just go out, early goals, nice game went well. Chelsea had a few chances, had their moments, and nothing happened. But we know that's not going to happen, Kev. Absolutely not. If it didn't happen against Luton, it's not going to happen against Chelsea. Right, we'll wrap it up there, Kev. We've done a lot more than what we thought. We're nearly on to the hour. Archie's trying there. He's in Wookie. Listen later. Cheers, Archie. He's in a lot of the content that we do. So keep it up, pal. And yeah, that's it, Kev. Thanks for coming on. It's great to get you on. What's the plans for the day now? Will you watch a bit of football, yeah?
Well, no, my daughter won tickets in work for the Ireland-Wales game. So she's got up to the Aviva today with her boyfriend. So I'll probably watch that this afternoon, 2:30. Watch the 2 games then. I'll watch the 5:30 and the 8 o'clock. Literally, my day off. My missus is working, so the other fellas working as well. So exactly, it's going to be a day for the fire and a day for a few cans and watch the sport.
And I'll throw it out there. I think this will be a day, the weekend. Well, no, it'll be today because both it's not no games tomorrow. City or Arsenal probably drop points. I think it's going to happen probably be this week, be today. So watch the space. Yeah, watch the space. Kev, gentlemen, thanks, pal. I appreciate it. And remember, everybody, like, subscribe, comment. Go over to Talkin Kop. Kev's on it all the time. Are you on it after the game tomorrow, Kev?
We are. Myself and Matt are doing a post-match tomorrow after the game, probably about 15 minutes after the final whistle, because we kind of want to sit and watch the cup lift as well. Like, so, but and I think Gav's over in Liverpool at the minute with Emmett, so I think they're going to be going. They might be going live for the members at some point through the day and through the weekend as well. So it's always busy, mate. We're trying to raise money as well for the transport and food banks and the Lighthouse Cafe in Dublin. So
the
links are going to in all of Talkin Kop socials. So if anyone is interested in that, they can click on that, and if they can donate.
Yeah, they're over. And if everybody, I think Gav said everyone puts €1 in. You know, they'll have made it. So they're over. Look, €1. It's not breaking the bank, even for someone to put something in 50 cents, whatever. It's every little helps, and it's a contribution. Exactly. Yeah, that's great. Now keep up the great work, Kev. It's gone. It's exploded the Talkin Kop, you know. It's loads of subscribers, loads of views all the time. It's great, and the lads are great on it. They give an honest analysis, and you know, they justify in what you're saying, and you back her up. It's not just going over, and it's a bit of a conversation, which is great. It's nothing too scripted, but it's, you know, you're very knowledgeable. You have a lot of, you can tell you.
We all love it, mate. It's as simple as that.
Diligence on the football,
and that's all of it. I mean, if I'll tell you one thing, right? If I was told this from day one, if you come on and say something stupid, expect to have it ripped apart.
Yeah.
If you come on and try to be like, you see it with some podcasts, and look, everyone does whatever they want to do. But if people want to do it for engagement or for ridiculousness to get attention, expect to be taken to task on it. It's like if you're in a group in a pub and you're all sat around the table and someone pipes up and says something stupid, everyone else will look at each other, right? You're having some, and that's the way that the shows are always go, because like if you say something, back it up. If you can back it up, grand, and and it works because it's literally just like a conversation. It's a conversation that you have between your mates. You all support the same club, but you'll have different ways and different views of looking at it. But the end result is we all want Liverpool to win. That's the end of it.
Yeah, we
how
do.
We get there. We all have different ideas of how we get there. But we all want to get there.
Analysis and exactly. But we all want, that's the end goal and result. And hopefully that's the end result tomorrow, Kev. That's the most important thing, the final. And we're going to Wembley Steps and collecting that silverware. And it's the first of many, hopefully, Thanks, Kev. I appreciate it for getting on me. And all the best. Enjoy your day off. And thanks to anybody that came in on the comments and viewers. And I know most people watch it later because of the time it is on a Saturday. But thanks all. Take care. Come on, the Reds.